welcome back, everyone. So we are going to continue our series. Basically, today we are going to create a new virtual machine, Windows 10, and we're going to add it to our virtual lab. We're going to also join this computer to the domain, and then we're going to use it to test a few things that we're going to need it to test later on. So without further ado, this should be a short clip, just going over the basics that you will need to know when you're joining like a virtual computer, or it will work the same way if it's a physical computer, right? So the first thing we want to do is let's look at um, let's go back to our cut sheet. So as you can see, I have three computers that I will be bringing into this new enterprise, right? These computers have already been built out, so we're going to work on PC03. The IP address will be 103. So now we will statically assign this IP address because we have not built DHCP yet. So temporary hold until I build out my DHCP server. I will just go ahead and assign it statically. And now it's good training so you can see how, you assign static IP addresses. And then after that, we will join it to the domain. All right, so Hyper-V, let's bring it on. As you can see, like I said, I brought in PC 1 and 2 already, and this is being prepped for the next series to come. All right, so before we get started, one thing I like to do, let's show you where we can find Windows 10 Enterprise downloads. So if you go back to Microsoft like we did in the beginning, you can go to microsoft.com /enus. You want to go to the evaluation center, so it's eval center /download, and then you're looking for Windows 10 Enterprise. Now you do have Windows 10 Pro and all those out there, but we are testing this as basically technicians. So these are readily available, and I will post this link also on the video. So like I said, Microsoft give this to you so you can test as a developer, as a system administrator, and you can play around with it so you can see how it would look for your organization or whatever. This is not meant for you to use for corporate levels unless you actually have a license. Okay, so all the stuff we're doing is just for testing purposes, just for lab work, and just to see if everything will work. Okay, so if you're not a technician, this is not where you should be working. So we're all techs and we're testing out the software. Okay, just to be on the safe side. So when you get into the evaluation center, you want to go ahead and get a 64-bit. And once you click this to download, it will go ahead and download a nice clean copy of Windows 10 Enterprise for you. Okay, let's minimize this. So we're going to go back and we're going to create a brand new virtual machine. Now, at this stage, if you're following along the entire series, you guys should already know how to do this on your own. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time through this process because we've done it before. We've done it in PowerShell. I showed you guys this earlier. So just follow along. We're trying to get this machine up and running so that we can continue moving forward. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to new virtual machine, and you can also do it in PowerShell. Right, this one is going to be called PC03. And we're going to click next, generation 2, next, start off with, that is the default, 4 gigs of RAM is fine, next. Remember the switch we created in the beginning, same switch, we haven't changed anything, and we haven't got deeper yet to change these around. So the default switch that we created, we're going to click this and we're going to go ahead next. PC3, so PC3, I only want it to be 30 gigs of RAM, nothing too difficult. Right, now we're going to go ahead and also click next. It's going to create a virtual hard drive, install the operating system. I have already downloaded this this copy of Windows like I showed you guys earlier, so I'm just going to go ahead and browse to it and look inside of my downloads folder, and let's look at it as a list real quick so I can make sure I have the right one. So this is Windows 10 Enterprise x64. Right, so this is what I'm going to use, and then I'm going to go ahead and click next, verify that everything is fine, and then we're going to go ahead and click finish. Now PC3 is ready to boot up. We've been down this road before, so I'm just going to go ahead and run through. Right, click start. It's going to prompt you to boot from CD here. Once you get in, make sure you press that button to get it in, working on the inside. And it's going to show you Windows 10. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and accept the default unless you speak a different language or your time zone is a little different. You change that here. Next, install now as the proper button to click. And Windows is going to go ahead and start up. Windows 10, it can be a little finicky. So same thing we did earlier in the beginning. Like I said, when we get here, I like to go ahead and click New, click Apply, click OK. Then you have your partitions that are created out for you. You can click Format if you want to clean that drive. It doesn't matter. It should be brand new. And then you click Next. And we're going to run through this and let Windows install. I will pause the video right here so the installation can take place. And then once it's complete, I will resume. All right, so the long piece is over, and you can just go ahead and click Restart and let this machine play this part. This part, like I said, it shouldn't take that long once you go back through and boot up. Okay, so as you can see right over here, just getting things ready. And Windows, well, normally for Windows 10, it takes a little bit sometimes of, depending on your RAM and all that good stuff. It can be one of those that take a little bit of time to get ready. You know what I mean? So let's pause right here again until we get onto the next screen. Okay, so we are making some progress. As you can see, it's going to ask you for the region and all that good stuff. So this is where you will identify your region and then go ahead and click yes if it's specified. Keyboard layout, simple. You can add another layout right here. I'll skip this. And personally, I think that this new whole setup of Windows, especially Windows 10, it's, how it says sit back and relax while we work on magic. It's too many things in the beginning. If as a technician, you just want to get right into it and just start working, and it's just so much going on that it's just, yeah. Especially like a new copy of Windows like this, it just takes, to me, it takes too long. All right, so this part is where you'll see this for a new version of Windows. We are not going to sign in with an account. We can do a domain join instead. And from here, we can say who's going to use this PC. Let's say Chief is fine. Give it a name. I don't want to use a password because we're going to domain set up all of this. I want to uncheck all these boxes. I don't want nothing to be sent over. All this stuff is, we're doing a lab environment, so skip all that stuff. Don't need to talk to Cortana, right? And then it comes through this part. That's what I'm saying. Like this piece is, it goes through so much. Just my personal opinion. And then it comes here, and it changes the screen, and it is so fascinated, and it goes to different colors. I mean, I guess if it's the first time you've seen Windows, but like I said, if I'm trying to get some work done and I'm trying to get into it, I don't really want to see all this. But this is why we have Windows deployments, and we have other tools that we use to customize Windows and break it apart for the organization, and we build it out how we want it. So then if you really had to do this for a customer and you're building Windows out, it takes this long. This is a long time just for it to start up, you know. But we're gonna pause here again. All right, so we are back. It went through the rest of the stuff. Seems like we're in. Close out. So now we are here. We can evaluate this. This is Windows license for 90 days. So you only get 90 days, as you can see, for evaluating Windows 10. With the servers, they'll normally come with 180 days and so forth. So just something for you to take in consideration. But for lab purposes, like I said, you could always tear it apart, rebuild it. You know, you don't need a license because you're not really putting this into production. You're just testing it out. All right, we are on our box. First rule. What's our first rule? Checkpoint. Always remember, checkpoint. So let's go ahead and we are going to create checkpoints. So checkpoint will be initial. So I say initial because this is the first checkpoint. All right. So in case you mess something up, you can go back to it. All right. Now we want this box to be able to join to the domain. So the first thing I want to do to this is I want to go to the network card and I want to make sure that I change this IP to the proper IP that it's supposed to have. All right. So remember the IP address from here, the scheme that we gave it. So it should be 172.16.1.03. So I like to write that down. So that's 172. That's 16.1.03. Let's look at it again. So 16.1.103. All right, so that's going to be 255.255.0.0. Okay, and then I need to be able to ping my DC. Everyone remember the DC? The DC was 11. Right, so if you go back here, and this is the domain controller. The domain controller is .11, and the secondary one we bring it on later will be .12. Now, if you guys remember when I did the DNS setup configuration, we did this so that when we're trying to do domain joining later, we shouldn't have any issues. Okay. Now we need to have a name for this PC. So name a convention. What was the name we're going to give this? So this is going to be our naming convention for this PC. Let's bring this up a little so we got some room to play. All right, so we can do this for real. Let's go ahead and get our name that we're going to need. So US is going to be it. Let's call this location let's build this out right. So I think I will do one of my locations will be Hawaii. Okay, and then my building number will be 100, and then this is a device role will just be a computer. So let's go ahead and insert so PC. And it will just be computer, and it will be a computer in production, and that will be the first. So this computer is going to be US HI. This will be the name. It's going to be in building 100, and it's going to be a PC, and it will be production, and then 001. All right, so that means this is the name of the PC that I'm going to have. So if I did this, lies, that's not the value I want. Kidding. So we just need to make sure this is US HI, sorry, HI 100, PC Papa, and then yeah, 001. All right, this is the first PC. This is the name. So when I rename this computer, I need to know that this is going to be the name of this computer. Okay. And that's why I said this is very important, because you want to make sure your Active Directory is going to be working and everything's cleaned up properly. So USHI 100 PC P001. That is my Active Directory computer name. Now, there's multiple ways when it comes to your computer. You can stage the computer names inside of Active Directory if you want to, and then join it to the domain name later. Or you can do the force way, where it doesn't exist. You just put it in and then force join it later. So IP address should be 172.16.1.103, and we're going to keep this in here until we bring in our DHCP server. Okay, 72. The gateway will be 16.1.1. Okay, and if we need to verify, we have our cut sheet to show that that is our first IP, and then our internal gateway was right there. Should be the 1.1 once we bring these servers online. RAS will be like the gateway for all the internal servers until we build out all of these. So we have a few things to do for this lab, but we're going to work it little by little until we get there. All right, so .1.1, and then our DNS, which is our DC, will be 11. So 172.16.1.11, and then the secondary would be 1.2.16.1.12. Now remember, 12 is not online yet. Okay, we haven't brought DC2 online yet, and then we also have not built our gateways yet. So when we're pinging these two, you shouldn't get a response as yet. However, we should be able to still ping 103. .11, because that is our DNS and our server. Okay, so show you one few cool things, and if you can tell me what went wrong here before I fix it, that'll be awesome. So we're going to try to attempt to ping, right? We're going to attempt to ping DC01. .172.16.1.103. Oops, sorry. Okay, so you see that we are able to ping going out. Now let's go to our DC. All right, so this is our DC and this is our PC03. Now let's try to do it from the next way. Let's bring our PowerShell over here, and let's try to ping back from our DC to 172.16.1.103. So you notice this one says timeout. We were able to ping from here over to the DC. Now, can anyone tell me what the problem is? Something we covered back into the first few series that we started. Does anyone know? I'm gonna wait. Do you know? Okay, we're gonna move along. And if you did guess right, then good job to you for remembering what I said about these things. All right, so the way we're going to fix this, we're going to go ahead and do a -T right here. So this is going to be like a continuous ping so that you can see that whenever this changes, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and verify on our DC that we have the right settings. Okay, so there you go, 16.1 at 11. And then we have also the DNS, which is replicating to itself, which is fine. It's the 127, which is just a loop back to itself. Okay. All right. Since DNS is working, we shouldn't really have any issues contacting this box. So right here, if you look across, we're pinging out to try to test across the network. It is still saying request timeout. Now, if we go over here and we ping, we're still connecting. So right now we have connection where we're talking one way. Okay, the box can talk to the DC that way, but the DC is not allowed to talk to the box. There's a reason why, and here it is. If you remember when I said firewall, you got to fix these early. So if we went ahead and look, you got a domain, private, public, whatever. If you go ahead and you turn these off, right, little by little, watch the screen over there, right? You will see that it will change throughout the process because domain fire state is off. Turn this one off as well, right? Notice now, do you see anything that changed? There you go. So now the computer can talk to each other. The DC can talk to your PC, and your PC can talk to your DC. These are things that you want to troubleshoot and you want to fix before you start trying to do the whole joining pieces and all that good stuff. Because sometimes you're having issues, they're not communicating. Just troubleshoot, make sure your firewalls are good. However, by default, when you're doing group policies and all these will be modified already. And on a bigger network, so you technically don't have to do this in an organization. You should have group policies dictating what firewalls are working, what ports are open, and so forth. But for lab purposes, when you're doing this, these are important things. The firewall, important pieces you want to check. All right, so we know that this is working now. So let's do a Control-C over here, and we can stop this. So now we can see that we can talk to 103, and 103 can talk to this respectively. All right, so good job if you guessed that the firewall was the issue. So the IP address is set, and we know that this is good. Firewall is turned off, one of the very important pieces that we needed to do. So now let's go to PC name, right? So the name, you can go here and view the name. In Windows 10, it's like really easy. You can do rename this PC, or you can always scroll down and do rename this PC in advanced mode, right? Two ways you can do it. Rename this PC will take you there, or you can go back to advanced mode and click rename it this way. I like to do it this way. This is the old school way, right? Here is where we're going to make sure that this name that we use is the name that we want to put over here, right? So if you remember, just write it down. US Hawaii 100 PC P001. Now, can anyone remember and tell me how do we copy from the local machine over into there? What do we need to turn on? There we go. Right into it. All right. So we're going to name this computer US HI 100, and it's a PC 001. This is the name of the computer. I'm going to click OK. This is basically everything we need. So we're going to restart, right? And now that we have the box basic setup, it's ready to be drawn to the domain. We did a few modifications, right? Built out the box, given the IP address, change the firewalls, modify the firewalls so that it can communicate back and forth two-way. And then we renamed it. After renaming, we want to go ahead and do the restart. And then now this is where we're going to attempt to join the domain. But for that, let's test something real quick. So if we did let's go ahead and test something real good. All right, so what I wanted to tell you, let's go ahead and do a test. So remember before when I said we needed to fix DNS? Now on a new box, we can go ahead and test to see if DNS is actually working. So this is a new computer. Let's do what's called an NS lookup. And remember the IP address for the DNS, right? So 172.16.1.11 was the server, the DHCP, the DNS server, the domain controller. Now, see, there you go. So when we configured it, we wanted to make sure that it can hit the server, which was DC01 on the lab network. This is a brand new computer, and if DNS is working efficiently, this is what you need to see. And this is why some of the issues I was saying, you want to make sure you try to fix these before you go ahead so that you won't have DNS problems later, especially when it comes to joining the PC, when it comes to joining computers to the domain. Okay, so we went ahead and we did the forward lookup so we can test it. So DC, we did this and we test to make sure DNS is working that way. And let's look up the name. So let's go ahead and see if we can play with, let's do an NS lookup on the reverse side of it, right? So we know that the server, when we did the IP address, it gave us back the name of the server. Now let's do an NS lookup on the name and see if it will resolve the address. And there you go. So that's what I said. Forward is working, reverse is working, and we have a good DNS resolve or resolution working, guys. Give yourself a round of applause if you did it right. And at this stage, things are working good for you. Amazing. Now, let's go ahead and we are going to join this computer to the domain. Same way we did earlier, like I said, just to, if you type in PC, that will show you view this PC name. You can click it there. Now, we're going to rename this PC. I want to go ahead and go all the way down to rename this PC Advanced and not to rename this PC here. Because we're not renaming it no more, we're going to join it to the domain, so you need to use advanced settings, okay? Now, inside of advanced settings, you want to go to where you see to rename this computer or change this domain name or work group, click change. You're going to go ahead and click change right there. The computer already has its name because we did earlier. Member of a domain is right here. So the domain name, right, is, and if you needed help, you can see where we have it up there, right? So this is a domain, CHIEF, so it's chief.home.lab. And if you didn't follow me and you named it something else, just remember whatever you named your domain, that's the FQD and the fully qualified domain name. That's what you're putting in here, okay? And then want to go ahead and click OK. It should prompt you for an administrative password, which is right here. So this is going to be an admin password that you have on this DC, right? It should be an admin account and password that you will need to create or join this computer. So we can use the administrator account. Best practices though, you should never have this account that everyone is using. This is why I created a chief account, because then you can use that account to your leverage and everyone have separate accounts. But for this purposes, let's go ahead and see if I remember this account and we can use it to log in. If it is successful, it will say welcome to the domain. No DNS issues, everything works well, and this right here is good to go. We're going to pause this, restart this computer right now, and we have a computer that is now joined to the domain. Pause real quick. All right, so we are back. So we just finished restarting the computer after it's joined to the domain. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to log in right now with our not local account, but we can use my other domain account, or we can just use this one. But this is where, like I said, we're going to merge into additional pieces of this this stage. So let's close all of this out. We have a fresh computer joined to the domain, and at this point we are going to shut this down, right? So let's go ahead and turn it off. Because we're going to come back to this machine, right, later on, but we're going to come back to this machine. So what we're going to do right now for Active Directory, we're going to go over here and we're going to create some test users that we need to have to play with later. All right, so let's go to Active Directory. Many ways you can get this, right? There you go. So what we want to do, we're trying to structure or create a good structure now for Active Directory going forward. All right, so this is Active Directory, and we need some production systems and we need some production users or whatever. So at this point, let's just go ahead and build out a site. So we said that we're going to have Hawaii, right? So we can say we're going to create a new OU, and let's call this OU OU based on our cut sheet. We know that our naming convention is location code. So let's go by locations, which is going to roll over to our sites, and let's go ahead and call these cities, or we can just do sites and click OK. So we are going to be working on the sites. On the sites, I want to create a new organizational unit, and this one I'm going to call it New York. Just going to abbreviate it like that. Next site, I'm going to call it Hawaii. Let's do states for this one. Let's go with a new site, a new OU. What can we use? Give me another one. So we got New York. Okay, let's go to Florida. And maybe let's have one more, which we do New York. We have Florida. We got Hawaii. Let's do something maybe like California. All right, so those will be our 4 sites going forward. Okay, so we have New York, and those are good places too. Hawaii, Florida, and Cali. So once we start working on sites later, we will have the proper ones working on. Instead of Hawaii, right? Inside of Hawaii, I want to create that new computer. Well, actually, no, because the computers that I had earlier is joined this right here. Actually, no, it's right here. This was a Hawaii. So you can really look at the computer and see where they belong, right? And this is one of the good things about a naming convention, because if you name them right, it should show you US HI. So if you see HI automatically, you know that computer belongs to Hawaii. So under Hawaii, let's go ahead and we are going to create a new group. And this group, we're going to call this group admins. And then let's create a new group called users. Hawaii users. Just remember, you can't just use users because it's already there and it's already inside there. So admins, let's go with HI admins. Let's fix that real quick. All right, so we have admins, we got users, and I think that might be good for now. So we can do power users or we could do sales. Let's do a couple more. So let's do new group, and then we're going to do HI. So we do Hawaii sales group, and then we're going to do maybe a new one. Hawaii, and then we have sales, we have marketing. So let's do marketing. It's always a good one. And then let's do our last group. We're gonna call it let's go with media. What about media? Production. So we have admins, we have marketing, sales. We can do HR, we can do production. You got marketing guys, sales, customer service. All right, we can do help desk. Let's do help desk. So there you go. All right, so there goes our groups for just Hawaii right now. We're only gonna focus on Hawaii. So we built out a new OU. We created few OUs and we created some groups. Right. Do note the groups that we have, security groups. Right. These are global security groups. And then inside here, let's go ahead and create a user, right? Inside of each. We're going to create a user inside of each. So let's say Hawaii got groups, and now we need to do can do a new OU. Actually, no, we should have, huh? So let's do a new OU inside of Hawaii. And we're going to call it groups. Let's keep it more organized. And then we'll do a new OU, call it users. Doesn't like that because it's already named there. Let's call this, okay, we can't use users. So we got groups under Hawaii. And this is why I'm saying the naming piece, it comes into play. So we can do Hawaii users. Let's go power users, maybe. Oh, come on. So maybe power users might be good. All right. I like the name power, so let's go with, let's change this and call it power groups. And then a new OU here, and we're going to call these computers new OU. And we're going to call these Hawaii Power Systems. I like that. So then it's not taking up the same name are we using. Systems, all the computers will go here, all the users and all the groups will go here. So all of these, now let's move all these groups into the right area that they belong. So when you go to groups, you see Hawaii admins, users, all of that. Those are all groups. Users need to be here and systems need to be here. So this computer that was created for Hawaii, we're going to go ahead and move it under Hawaii Power Systems, right? So that's where it needs to be to clean up AD. So if you were cleaning it up, you see this belongs to Hawaii. We have groups that are already made, power groups. And then now we just need to create users. So we're going to create, let's create one admin, maybe a sales guy and a users guy, and maybe someone from the help desk. So this is how you would do it. Go into the group, the OU that you want to create it. You want to click new, right? And we're going to do new user. This user, they will always have a login name here. So let's start off with a username. Let's go with common names, John, and we're going to call him John. What's that guy? What's that movie? John Wicks. Is it Wicks or Wick? Let's call him John Wick. And his username will be j.wick. And then we're going to say password doesn't expire. Let's give them a password. Finish. So we have John Wick, right? And then let's go with a new one, a new user. Give me another guy. Let's go with, let's steal some names from the internet real quick. There we go. Jennifer Lopez. Why not? Jennifer Lopez. She has an account, so it'll be J Lo. Easy, so it'll be J Lopez. All right. All right. Jennifer Lopez has an account. Let's go with who else can we use? This needs to get some names. Let's get some celebrity names in here. How about Kanye West? Well, you know what? Let's go with Kanye East. You know what? Maybe I should not use his name. I don't want any problems. So let's just go with folks that I don't know. I don't just to make stuff up, just to be on the safe side. Let's go with Justin East. Don't know who that is. Jada East. Right. Easy password, don't check that. Password never expires. All right, so we have Jennifer Lopez. Let's think that might be fine. Anyone can be Jennifer Lopez. John Wick, Justin East. You notice everything starts with J. That's crazy. Maybe. All right, so this should be good enough for testing purposes. All right, so what we're going to do is we want to assign these power groups, right? So let's go ahead and add one guy to sales, right? So we're going to go into sales, and now we're going to just add these guys or these members, right? So member, let's go to here, and we can always click advanced, find no. You will see everyone that we created. So let's put Jennifer Lopez in sales. In marketing, we're going to put the next guy, John Wick. And then at the help desk, we are going to put Justin East. Okay. All of these folks have a role. They're all part of different departments. Okay, and then Hawaii admins, we're going to add. We're going to add, since this is about an admin group, we're going to add the domain admins. We can, but let's just add key admins. No, let's do, we just need somebody. So let's just put my name in the Hawaii admin group because the permissions are a little bit. So administrators have or will be here. Help desk works here, marketing and sales. So we have in Hawaii, we built out power groups. We got some users. We got one system so far, which is fine that we can work with. And we have some type of Active Directory structure built and ready to go. Okay, so now what we need to do for testing purposes, we just need to see if we can log in with any of these users and to test it out. So let's go ahead and start up our virtual machine on PC03, and we're just going to do a test. So other user, so let's go to the first user. We had Justin East. If you notice his account, it was j.east. So let's see if we can log in with j.east. Okay, so this guy is allowed to log in, so everything worked out well with his account. Okay, so Justin East is logging in for the first time, right? Like I said, Windows, the new version takes a little bit. To me, it's kind of dramatic. But Justin East is logging into the first time after he created his account in Active Directory, and everything seems well. So this should wrap up basically this step of the process, because we're going to need this portion of it to go over to the next step. All right, so we're just going to fine tune one more thing really before we close out this portion of it. All right, so we realize that Justin can log in, Justin East. And once you create, like I said, your Active Directory users, you got your groups, right? Everyone is created properly. Then you shouldn't have any issues really once your users are logging in. Okay, so this is Justin's account. He logged in for the first time. We're going to go ahead and look at what Justin can see. He got his local disk, and Justin is a brand new member that just logged in. Okay, so guys, this is closing out this piece. I don't want to take it too far. I just wanted to go over installing a new VM, configuring the VM. Then we're going to modify, or we did. We modified Active Directory a little bit. We created user groups, created user accounts, created a PC. We went over making sure that we're following the naming convention, right? So that you stay connected properly, and it shows you that we have some type of structure so that you're not going overboard, or you doing something then later on you can't remember. We validated that DNS is working from the previous videos into this one, so that is a good thing. And we joined the computer to the domain. We set a static IP, and we disabled the firewall so that both machines can talk two ways. So we call it like a two-way handshake, or trust between the two devices. This is how you add a PC to the domain and set it up. Okay, so until next time, appreciate you hanging with me. I know we were like all over the place a little bit, but we got the work done. So thank you for watching and tuning in to this series, and we're going to keep building the lab. Okay, I hope you learned something today. I hope it was satisfying, and until next time, I will see you later. Ciao, ciao. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Thanks.